So this part here probably makes sense. I mean, I think to a large degree, organizations now are more familiar with a lot of terms. Um, and Organizations um, trust to a large degree their data scientists to do stuff. And what that typically means, kind of like the old IT concept, which is, they're in IT, we're in business. I don't get in their stuff. I just ask them to make sure everything's up and running, and they take care of that. How they do it, I don't really know. And there's a little bit of that that's going on. But more and more, what we're starting to see are organizations really looking at, I want to understand things. It's been long enough. Either we've had a model deployed and I don't know enough about it, or I have a department that we're spending a lot of money in and we're getting 2 or 3 models out a year in, or they're getting pressure from the market. You're having new, earlier companies come on and they know just a lot more and they're more transparent about their process. So you can start to imagine where this sort of thing could go. Because AI doesn't speak business, it's important for data science teams and analytics teams, in my judgment, to start to have answers to these questions. If I want to understand a model or individual predictions, how do I go about doing that? Where do I go to get some of that information? Most of this stuff today happens in Jupyter notebooks, which is not bad. It just is a state of things, which is kind of like, to a large degree, can go anywhere from a really prettified coding experience to data scientist scratch pad. And things can certainly get lost on there. And so what we try to do is bring out all sorts of information along the way where people may want to understand, how do they compare models? How do they validate what's going on? Using some of these more technical things, but putting it in a business context. So my experience is that if you can talk about confusion matrix, which is kind of this concept in classification models for people that deal with AI and those sort of things, that's really kind of a turnoff in my experience for a lot of business professionals. But as soon as you start talking about profit and cost and impact, business impact, they understand it. And so there's a lot of what we do, which is to convert many of these things into business concepts, like the ROC curve, for example, which is the confusion matrix. That way we understand. It's also a different way to kind of compare models. It's not just about AUC. It's more about, well, what does it cost me to get that performance? How many people do I have to burn through before I understand that this is exactly the target that I need to be hitting? And so being able to kind of address these sort of things, AI doesn't do this on its own. These are kind of blind spots. But what you see here on the screen is my understanding as it relates to business and organizations, and being able to kind of bring that forward so that people can understand easily what it is that the model is doing without having to look at any Python at all, any Python code at all.